Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Season 6 of Stand Up and Stand Out, Parte y Desdecate. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nikki Green, and we're taking it back to the old school with our original guest interviews you have come to love. We spent the last 2 seasons learning more about the 2 books I launched this year, Chameleon Mindset and The Great Lead Hership Awakening. And now that I've come up for air from the writing and publishing process, I wanted to reach out to my network and share more of the great work others are doing. I hope you enjoy Season 6, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and comments on the fascinating topics we will cover with each of these new guests. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stand Up and Stand Out, Parte y Desdecate. Another amazing guest to share with you today, and I can't wait to introduce you to Anamaria. Anamaria is a master certified coach, culture consultant, and purpose mentor, supporting leaders and teams in activating deep purpose and creating conditions for thriving and evolution. She is the author of Life Revision, a journey to rediscover your core, reinvent yourself, and renew your future vision. Available in Spanish, Revisión de Vida, and in English. With this methodology, she guides people through a 6-step process to revision their lives and our world. With this work at the center, Anamaria founded Revision Academy, where she trains and leads a community of purposeful and soulful change agents. Welcome to the show, Anamaria. It's so good to see you.
Great to see you, Nikki. I'm so glad we met recently, and I really admire your work. And I'm so glad you're empowering all these leaders and people wanting to be chameleons and shape-shift into the true self.
Yeah, I felt so many parallels between our work and was really excited to meet you at one of Ray's events and just starting to continue to connect our network. And I know there's going to be so much more potential as we continue to work together in the future. But let's start with introducing you to the audience a little bit more. Why don't you tell them a little bit more about the work that you're doing and the Revision Academy?
Well, it all started with a big crisis that I had under 10 years ago. And it was a time where I had to really question who I was becoming and where I was going. I think it's very easy to fall into what I call the borrowed dreams, which are elements of culture, society, school, parents, family, whatever, that we take up for some reason, maybe to please others or to belong. We all do it, so no shame in that. Eventually, we ask ourselves, wait a minute, what am I doing with my life? Is this the life I really want to live? So that's an expression of that that happened to me with also the classic burnout, with health issues and a couple of firing from jobs. So it was all very messy. So very messy breakdown I had, which I'm very grateful for because it's what helped me ask the big questions in life. And at the time, I didn't have the mentor to really support me how I needed, the way I needed, that not to pathologize me, but rather in a very symbolic and soulful way, take me into my true self. So at the time, I had one of my favorite books in hand, which is Women Who Run with the Wolves. Full of stories, full of archetypes. And that's exactly what I needed to speak to that innermost place that speaks in symbols, speaks in images, like dreams. It gave meaning to what I was experiencing and helped me accept what was happening as part of my journey, as an essential part of my journey. You know, there's a goddess called Kali, who's a goddess of creative destruction. She came strong into my life to shift things around and get me out of my comfort zone and reinvent myself. From that place, I started finding out what are the steps I started to take, and that became my book. Eventually, I realized that the best way to do this work is in community. So then I founded Revision Academy. So I like to say I have 2 children. One is my book and one is my school.
I can definitely feel that. It's always a labor of love when we really get to switch gears and use those creative faculties and birth into the world something that means so much to us and is a part of us in that process. And having, finished 2 books this year, I definitely felt it like I was having twins. It was a lot. But it's important. It's an important part of the journey. And I do like what you said too, which is always the part where many people struggle is it's often a low that helps us get to that next high. That there's always sometimes this crisis or just a thing of the world telling us we're probably not in the space we're supposed to be, that we kind of just got on autopilot and we were doing all the things we should or thought we should have been doing because of other people's influences. And just getting back to really listening to ourselves. And I love how you help not only, do that journey for yourself, but how others can do that journey as well.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing about this path is that I've grown with the school, with the mentors that work with me. So I have my initial curriculum of purpose work, but then I realized, wow, if I train mentors, I need to train them in all things leadership, and not just any kind of leadership, but the way I would love to see leadership unfold in this world right now. So it's been wonderful to incorporate and curate a curriculum of different modalities, like the art of hosting, nonviolent communication, to grow in our ability to navigate conflict and tensions, focusing, which is a beautiful technique to process our emotions, and then a tarot deck that I've been developing, and I hope it comes out this year. But it's a tool to go even deeper in our symbolic journey of what is the adventure we need to undertake inside so that we keep blossoming into our fullest self. So that's also something I wanted to share, that whenever you embark on a creative journey, it takes you with it. You don't know where it's going to take you exactly, but it helps you take the next step, and you just follow, you just listen and respond.
It's tough to do though, because, we are taught, okay, here's the path. You're going to go to school. You're going to take step 1, step 2, step 3, and all these things are magically just going to come together, and it leads you to the place you're supposed to be. And what most of us actually find is it doesn't. It takes us to the place someone else thought we wanted to be or where they wanted us to be. And it is really scary when you start leaving that structure and starting to try to go the more creative path or the more genuine path, because it isn't quite so linear. There are a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs that you've got to be ready to embark on. And I like the fact that you combine the community aspect with that. I think that's so important to give people that support, that they're not alone in those journeys and the things that they're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Community is such a wholesome part of our growth, because if you think about it, to become, you need to be surrounded by others that validate that you have indeed become a new person. Otherwise, we self-doubt. We're like, did I really become this, in the vacuum? But if we have people around us that reflect back who we are becoming, who we are now, and they see us, we need to be seen, then things click inside of us. There's a practice from a tribe in Africa that I like to always share, and I cite it in my book, which is the Babemba tribe, that has a beautiful practice that when somebody loses their path or does something really wrong, instead of punishing them, instead of isolating them, what they do is they gather around a group of people who know this person very well, and they start retelling them their stories, their anecdotes, and all manner of situations that have brought out the best in them. And so this person remembers, oh, I'm not my mistakes. I'm not my wrongdoings. I'm not the ways I have been lost. That has this magical medicine of helping us rectify our path. And so the lesson for me of this practice has two parts. One is the importance of community in our lives. Like, we so need others to bring ourselves back to life after a big crisis, and also to rebirth a new version of ourselves. And also the power of stories, because there's so many stories that we can tell ourselves in moments of difficulty. And some of those stories are when we have overcome a big difficulty. We can tell ourselves, if I have overcome this, then I can overcome many other things. I'm resilient, I am strong. And we know that we have what it takes to come through in whatever situation we're in.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki Green, and I am a life and business resiliency expert. I have been helping people for over 2 decades overcome their challenges and achieve their life and business goals. I wrote Chameleon Mindset for others seeking clarity while acclimating to new situations. This entertaining yet research-based guide to transitions will open your mind to unique strategies for finding purpose and achieving your goals. Through my new book, you will create the happy life you desire with 5 philosophies for change, beginning with C for creative adaptability. Move from resistance to resilience by assessing and adjusting your risk tolerance. The practical lessons in Chameleon Mindset will help you shift your mindset, sharpen your skill set, and overcome the things holding you back from dealing with change. We'll have the new online course coming soon. There are half a dozen modules in total, but the way you choose to pursue your destiny, it's up to you. Each module can be done independently or repeated as necessary to tackle new obstacles and new goals in your life. And you can earn extra Chameleon coins for uncovering them. What are Chameleon coins, you might ask? These are reward XP that you can earn to purchase additional Chameleon Mindset benefits as you progress through the course. You can get swag, group coaching, one-on-one coaching, exclusive event tickets, and networking opportunities. And if you collect enough coins, you can even earn a full-day VIP intensive with me to work solely on your goals. And by joining the Chameleon crew, you will also gain access to my network of thousands of influential people around the world with expertise to help you on your business, your personal endeavors, health and fitness, and so much more. Reserve a copy today and click below to be added to our subscriber list. And that's so true, right? We tend to forget who we are sometimes. We forget all the things that we've overcome because each new thing, either, whether it's the second problem, the 18th problem, the 100th problem, it starts to wear you down after a while. And sometimes you just have trouble getting back out of it. And having other people kind of reflect back to you, your stories, the things you have achieved, and reminding you of all the amazing things you've accomplished can really just have a miracle effect on us to bring us back to, oh, right, I almost forgot about that. That is who I am, and that is who I can be again, right?
Exactly. And then through this woman called Christina Baldwin, and her various books, I learned that we are the only ones who can stitch our stories together and weave them and craft them the way we want. And that process of writing our stories, becoming self-authoring, authors of our own life, is very powerful because if many people have this love-hate relationship with their past, particularly because maybe they have a very painful event in the past that they haven't been able to stitch in a way to tell the story in an empowering, dignified way, right? So in our school, we really encourage people to go back and precisely grab hold of that very painful story and see how you can tell it. Because that story is medicine for you and for other people. And so it's becoming brave and courageous and vulnerable to be able to tell those stories and share the ways you have fallen down, share your failures, because it's precisely there that there's so many lessons to learn and so much possibility. Just to give you an example, one of my biggest heartbreaks is to have lost a team that I adored, a beautiful team of women. We were going to do great things together. And then we had a conflict, and the team was not prepared to handle the conflict in a graceful way, including myself. And we all broke apart, and everything we had built together, including our intimacy, was shattered. And that gave me such a heartbreak that I was determined to see what is the lesson here for me. And one of the lessons is whatever I build going forward will have to have a conflict resolution protocol and a way to handle tensions and conflicts that come up. And so that's just one example of how we can harvest the lessons of even the most painful situations in our life and turn them into something powerful. So now every person that goes through my leadership training learns how to handle tensions and conflict in a life-giving way.
That's amazing and so needed. I mean, we can see it across so many different things, not just sort of private corporation type leaders, but political leaders, religious leaders, just in a lot of places where unfortunately, it feels like lately we're just actually promoting conflict rather than resolving it. Like we're wearing it as a badge of honor that we can go fight these battles, but we're not really resolving things. We're not getting people to work together better. We're not getting better performance out of our congregation or out of our community or out of our employees. And so I really would encourage more people to take this type of training that you offer, because it's so valuable and necessary, because we're going to continue to become globally more connected. We're going to be interacting with different cultures and different people with different experiences more often. And so it's not going to be so simple that, oh, well, I know how you see the world because that's how I see the world. And you and I talked about this a bit too, about not just only being bilingual, but also being bicultural, and how that opens up your understanding of things more than just the language. So maybe share a little bit about your experience there too.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad I can speak about that. Not often do I have the chance. So my school, most of it is in Spanish. So if you are a Spanish speaker, I have many more offerings for you. And I'm catching up for the English speakers. I do have level 1 and level 2 of my workshops. But in any case, it's complex to have these two bicultural, bilingual worlds to integrate. I confess I'm still learning how to properly do this, because I absolutely love both worlds, the world of Latin America and our culture and our music and our way of being. And I also adore and love the U.S. and North America in general, and the pragmatism and just getting things done, and just the way that things just happen in such an easeful way, and the collaborations also. So I would love to have that integration happen even more. In fact, in one breathwork journey, I dreamed up this network of hearts throughout all the continent, of people who are here to support the big awakening, that I believe is happening. A big awakening, a big transition, at least, towards a more conscious humanity. And for that, we need a kind of soulful relationships and collaborations where we leave behind competition and where we truly, truly step up together to create the kind of culture that is needed. And I believe at the center of that culture is a sense of purpose, is a sense of why am I here on this planet and at this time? And it's in discovering the unique gifts that I have to offer.
It's so beautiful. And, even within the US, so many people struggle with this because people come here for different reasons. And then they're struggling with their identity of where they came from versus where they are now, but also with that purpose of where am I trying to get to? And I really always encourage people this important aspect of, just like the chameleon, you're not completely leaving yourself behind. You will always be a chameleon, but you do need to keep adapting to your environment and making sure you're getting out of it what you need, emotionally, spiritually, career-wise, all the things. And so trying to figure out that balance for all of us, that we can still cherish all of those wonderful experiences of our upbringing, while also experiencing new things about the world and learning more about it, because there's so much more to learn than we can even experience probably in one lifetime.
Yeah, it's a joy that we have all these tools at this time to connect across the globe. And in my book, I cite so many sources of wisdom, because not only was I trained in the U.S., educated in the U.S., but also here in Colombia, and also a French education, and but I'm also continually studying the Eastern wisdom tradition. So it's so wonderful that we get to have so many sources to drink from, and also connect with people around the world. And that's what I find fascinating. And I really hope that the school that I lead will drink from all of these sources of wisdom, like the Babemba tribe in Africa, the Buddhists in the Tibet, or like the shamans here in South America. There's just so many wisdom guides for us.
Yeah, I love it. And just taking the time to be able to learn from them. Well, I feel like Colombia must be calling me. This is must be on my bucket list for 2024, because I keep meeting so many wonderful Colombians, and learning more from their experience. And So it must be that I need to come visit you sometime in the future here soon.
Well, I'd be happy to host you here. I live at an intentional community, an eco village outside of Bogota. This is something that I co-founded 17 years ago, and it's part of my vision for the planet, that we get to live in community and in ways that are more harmonious with nature and with other people, and also with ourselves. And so this is something I'm very proud of, that I get to live with my friends and surrounded by beauty.
Yeah, no one can knock that for sure. I think people are very jealous of you right now and interested to learn more. Well, believe it or not, time flies when we're having fun. We've got to sign off. But before we do, why don't you share a few ways that people can get connected to you? And we'll also drop all that information in our show notes.
Sure. Well, LinkedIn is a really good way. I'm there in that platform, as well as Instagram, although that tends to be in Spanish. But the best way is really to email me and see what is currently being offered both in English and in Spanish. My email is my name, Anamaria, at my last name, Aristizabal.net. And I'm pretty responsive by email, and I like to have conversations with people one-on-one and just see what you're up to, what you need, and how I can support you.
Oh, fantastic. And I can't wait for more of our conversations to go. And I'm lucky that we got to meet under such wonderful circumstances and continue to grow our partnership together. Like I said, I see so many parallel paths for us. And I don't know where it's going to take us, but I love the creative journey that we're about to be on together.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for having me on, and a big greeting to all your audience. And I also look forward to what we're going to co-create. Many blessings.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Stand Up and Stand Out. We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Please don't forget to share your thoughts on this topic with us across our social channels. You can find them at thenikkigreen360.com and catch additional episodes where all the cool kids hang out, the Do Podcast. TTFN, this is Nikki signing off.